Alors, on est avec Molly, qui est de la Société historique Saint-Jean, pour nous parler un petit peu de l'événement qui se produit aujourd'hui. Hi, Molly, how are you?
Hi, thanks for having me. Yeah.
No problem. Nice weather.
Yeah, it's beautiful weather.
Yeah. This event.
It's great. Yeah, it's not at all like it was in 1813. In 1813, it was minus 30, and it was snowing so hard. I know, so we are a little bit blessed to have this nice soft weather. Yeah. We're a nonprofit group that's committed to the appreciation and wise use of the natural and cultural heritage of the St. John River.
All right.
And so we received a grant from the federal government to deliver activities and events related to commemorating the War of 1812. So we gathered together a group of partners around up and down the river, and we all decided that the best thing to do would be to put on a series of community events where we could get people out, being active, enjoying the winter, and experiencing a little bit of what our soldiers and our descendants experienced.
Bit of history with that.
That's right, yeah.
Fantastic.
So the soldiers marched 1,100 kilometers. So what we're doing today is we're walking 5 kilometers. Surely we can all walk 5 kilometers
Sure.
to remember symbolically what these soldiers did. So we've done a series of events from St. John, and we're going all the way to Cabano, Quebec,
Oh, wow.
to Fort-Ringal.
Yeah.
And so we started actually in Fredericton on February the 16th, which was the day the soldiers left Fredericton.
Wow.
And then we're continuing all the way up the St. John River, and we're going to be in Cabano on March 10th. We're handing off to Quebec.
Okay.
Quebec is going across Quebec. Ontario is going across Ontario, and they're going to finish in Kingston on April 12th, which is the day the soldiers arrived 200 years ago.
So that experience was about what, a 2 months walk
53 days.
in snowshoes?
In snowshoes, yeah. Well, once they got up to further up the river and they crossed into Quebec, the spring came and they didn't need their snowshoes. But it was hard going because then it was the spring and everything was melted and not very nice. Here in New Brunswick, it was the coldest, snowiest winter on record in many years. It snowed every single night, and it rarely got above minus 30. And so these soldiers, and what I find is amazing is that these soldiers did this for a notion. Canada would not be a country for 55 more years.
That's true.
But they saw similarities with people in Ontario and Quebec, and there was enough commonalities that they decided that they were all going to band together to defend against the Americans, and that led to the creation of Canada. But I think about young kids today, and I think about 16 and 17-year-olds on this march, and I think, would we have enough conviction to do that today?
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
And that regiment was made of guys coming from all over the world.
All
actually.
over the world, yeah. Scotland, Ireland, England, Prince Edward Island they recruited, and then they recruited a lot in New Brunswick here. There were 516 of them were from New Brunswick. There were Acadians, English, Loyalist sons, Blacks, and there may even have been one First Nation, although the First Nation signed a neutrality agreement early on, so
That's amazing. But they got involved once they got to Kingston and Niagara,
in Ontario and Quebec, the groups up there were totally different. But here in New Brunswick, the Wolastoqiyik and Passamaquoddy signed a neutrality agreement, and most of that is because the Wolastoqiyik and Passamaquoddy Nation was in Maine as well as in New Brunswick. So why would they fight a war when half of their citizens were living on the other side of the border? Yeah.
So what justified all that was just not just, but they were afraid of an American invasion, right?
That's right. Yeah, they were. Yeah, there was. The war was declared June 18th, 1812, and and war was here at the doorstep of Canada. And so, and the reason that the 104th went up is because they needed extra troops in the spring of 1813 for a big battle that was brewing on Lake Ontario, and the St. Lawrence Seaway was frozen, so they would normally bring soldiers in that way, but they couldn't. So the 104th. New Brunswick's 104th Regiment got a note that said, "Start walking to Kingston," and you can imagine what they must have been thinking.
Oh my God! Yeah.
But they did it.
Conviction.
Yeah, exactly. I think that for me, I think this regiment embodies ideals we still all want to see in ourselves: loyalty and courage and perseverance.
Absolutely.
And there are things that we still all want to see in ourselves today. And I think that that's why the story still resonates with us 200 years later.
Fantastic, Molly. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time. Okay.
All right.
Donc, à tous les soirs, quand les soldats arrivaient, puis ils décidaient que c'est ici qu'on arrête pour la soirée, pour s'établir, pour passer la nuit. Donc, ils arrivaient, puis ils choisissaient une place. Ils sortaient leur raquette, puis ils escavaient une région circulaire où c'était le footprint de leur snow hut. Donc, une fois que l'excavation était faite, ils allaient se couper des arbres, des branches d'épinettes pour, premièrement, mettre un fond par-dessus la neige pour pas qu'il y ait froid. L'isolant, l'air était là pour les protéger. Puis deuxièmement, pour faire une structure comme un tipi, les tentes indiennes. Là. Donc, après ça, ils tiraient des feuillus, des branches, ils attachaient ça sur l'extérieur de la coquille pour faire un abri contre la neige puis le froid. Donc, à l'intérieur du snow hut, on a mentionné qu'ils mettaient des branches, mais les soldats couchaient tous les pieds. Ils faisaient un feu dans le milieu du snow hut, jusqu'à ce que la boucane pouvait sortir par la toiture. Donc, il n'y a pas de branches à la toiture. Donc, c'était quand même assez intéressant de tous les soirs, 53 jours de temps, rester dans un snow hut. Mais quand ils ont arrivé à Grand Sault, 200 ans passés, il y avait, jusqu'on est ici, il y avait une bâtisse qui était la baraque militaire, qui était appelée Fort Carleton. Donc, quand ils ont arrivé à Grand Sault, c'était un peu comme le five-star des établissements pour passer la soirée. Ils avaient couché en dedans. Ils n'avaient pas couché dans un snow hut de même.